Good morning, beloveds. Cats being cats. Okay. It is Monday. It is the first time in 3 days that I've set an alarm and gotten up. Not that I didn't wake up at 6 o'clock, 6:30 every day this week, but I just rolled over and went back to sleep. Today I got up and went to the workout and didn't go to work. But first, we have 365 Science of Mind. Oh, the last 4 days of this year. So, it is December 28th. Our title is Today I Speak My Word, Knowing It Will Not Return Unto Me Void. He is in one mind, and who can turn him? And this is from Job 23:13. Mind is Brahma, for from mind even are verily born these beings, by mind when born they live. That is from the Upanishads. The mind, then, is not separated off from God's essentiality, but it is united unto it as light to the sun. And that is from Hermes. Like I said, I think that's from the Kabbalion. Okay. Job tells us that God is of one mind. And Jesus clearly taught that this one mind includes our own thinking. Emerson also tells us that there is one mind common to all individual people. It is this eternal and perfect mind that we use. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus. The mind that we use, the mind of God must be peace, joy, and perfection. We enter into this divine state of being in such a degree as our own thoughts are peaceful, joyous, and perfect. To practice the presence of God is to practice the presence of perfection, of wholeness. This perfection and this wholeness includes joy, peace, and the fulfillment of every legitimate desire. Hermes said that our mind is united to God's essence as light is united to the sun. That is, we are individualized rays of the universal light. And the Upanishads say that everything is born from mind, lives in it and by it. In him we live and move and have our being. We live in mind, and our thoughts go out into mind. Okay, I'm going to try that line again. We live in mind, and our thoughts go out into mind to be fulfilled. This is the principle of universal mind, spiritual mind healing, and demonstration. Each one individualizes this universal mind in a particular, unique, and personal way. This is our divine inheritance, but we have drawn too lightly upon it, not fully realizing, as Jesus did, the limitless significance of our relationship with the infinite. We should learn more fully to enter into our divine companionship. Today I make a greater claim upon good. Today I speak my word, knowing that it will not return unto me void. It must accomplish and prosper, not because of the power of my will, but because I am willing to permit, to accept guidance, power, and peace. Okay. They don't get any shorter. He's kind of, I would say wrapping up. These are things that he has talked about. These are things that he has said over the year. he mentioned legitimate desire. He mentioned in the nature of. So it's kind of like we're studying for the final now. And it's like, okay, so all year I've been telling you how to do this. It's like, if you want your word to return to you manifest, these are the things that you need to make sure that you're doing. You need to make sure that you are doing it in the nature of, which is peace and love and joy and creativity. And you want, and it, when he says legitimate desire, and that you can take that on two levels, because we have lots of desires that are just fleeting. It's like, oh, that would be nice, but I don't actually really want that. So that wouldn't be a legitimate desire, because it's just a fleeting thing. And then we let it go. It's like, okay, we briefly entertain the motion, the idea, but there's no emotion behind it. So we don't have to worry about those becoming manifest. And then the other idea of the legitimate desire is that which is in the nature of. So if your desire is something that goes against the nature of God, the nature of spirit, it's not a legitimate desire, and it may, depending on how much power you have behind it, how much emotion you have behind it, it may manifest, but it's going to come out sideways. It's like, I use the computer analogies a lot because I literally grew up with them. So it's like, if you get one keystroke wrong, it corrupts the program. And so the program may work, it's just not going to work quite right. So we're wrapping up. We're wrapping up. We're reviewing for the final here. Today I speak my word, knowing that it will not return unto me void. And then he sets the conditions. It's like, okay, if you do not want your word to return unto you void, then these are your conditions. And the quote from Job, he is in one mind, and who can turn him? And there are benefits to a one-track mind. And prayer and treatment, that's one of those places where one-track mind can be a benefit. It's like, don't turn away from that which you want. The mind is Brahma, for from mind even are verily born these beings, by mind when born they live. And this is where people get a little weird with the Hindus. It's like, they have one God, Brahma, and then everything else further, it's like you trickle down away, they're just aspects of Brahma. They don't have multiple gods, they have one. And it's that mind, because everything is a dream in Brahma. Everything is a dream. We are a dream in Brahma. We are in the mind of Brahma. The mind then is not separated off from God's essentiality, but is united unto it as the light to the sun. I mean, that one pretty much, the mind is part of God. It's an essential part of God. Okay, so Job tells us that the God is of one mind. And Jesus clearly taught that this one mind includes our own thinking. And Reverend Jesse says that too. He says, the mind that made the stars is the same mind you use. And Ernest, further on in here, says, hey, the mind that made a star is the same mind you use. You're not using it fully. It's like, you could do so much more. You could be so much more if you wanted to. Now, you don't have to. But if you're not happy where you are, you have the power to get out of it. Like, if you're perfectly content, stay that way. Be that way. But if you are not content, you have a way to further who and what you do. Okay. Emerson also tells us that there is one mind common to all individual people. It is this eternal and perfect mind that we use. The mind that made a star is the same mind we use. The mind that dreamed up orchids, the mind that made cats, it's the same mind we use. Let this mind be in you, which is also in Christ Jesus. We use the same mind that Jesus the Christ did. Or does, because time is... The mind of God must be peace, joy, and perfection. He's reminding you these are the qualities of God. So when we want to use the mind, those are the qualities that we want to embody to get what we are asking for. And perfection is wholeness, not flawlessness, so don't worry about that. One misspoken word is not going to derail your prayer. We enter into this divine state of being in such a degree as our own thoughts are peaceful, joyous, and perfect. Whole. That's why we ground and center ourselves in the one when we enter into treatment. That's exactly why. We want to come to that mind in the nature of that mind. That's the first 2 steps of treatment. Okay. To practice the presence of God is to practice the presence of perfection, of wholeness. We must enter into this divine state of being to such a degree. Okay. This perfection and this wholeness include joy, peace, and the fulfillment of every legitimate desire. Hermes said that our mind is united to God's essence as light is united to the sun. That is, we are individual rays of the universal light. That's just a beautiful way of saying that. We are individual rays of the universal light. We all have the same source. We all have the same purpose to light. And we're all beautiful. Okay. And the Upanishads say that everything is born from mind, lives in it, and by it. Well, in him we live and move and have our being. That's in quotes. It's a quote from somewhere. We live in mind and our thoughts go out into mind to be fulfilled. This is the principle of spiritual mind healing. Okay, this is the principle of spiritual mind healing and demonstration. We live in mind and our thoughts go into mind to be fulfilled. This is the principle of spiritual mind healing and demonstration. I am brain dead at this point, so that may be a couple of sentences you want to take into treatment, into meditation. But I will tell you that with spiritual mind healing, it's about shedding all of the things that we aren't and remembering who we are. And that's exactly, healing is, it's about letting go of and recognizing what we are so that our body our mind, our soul, our spirit works the way it was designed to, not the way we think it should, if that makes sense. It's like, it has a plan and we just get in the way. So we go back to the divine blueprint and say, oh, this is the way. All right. Each one individualizes this universal mind in a particular, unique, and personal way. This is our divine inheritance, but we have drawn too lightly upon it. And this is where he says, you know what? You have this at your fingertips. And if you are not content, use it. but we have drawn too lightly upon it, not fully realizing, as Jesus did, the limitless significance of our relationship with the infinite. We have allowed the material to cloud our infinity, our connection to. We should learn more fully to enter into our divine companionship. That is also terrifying. It can be terrifying because it is asking you to let go. To let go, to fall fully into that divine companionship and to trust. And that can be hard. That can be hard. It can be, and I admit that. So, today I make a greater claim upon good. Today I speak my word, knowing that it shall not return unto me void. It must accomplish and prosper, not because of the power of my will, but because I am willing to let, to permit, to accept guidance, power, and peace. So, he lined out our qualities that we want to enter into. He reminded us of basically who we're dealing with. It's like, these are the qualities that you are dealing with. These are the qualities you want to embody. These are the qualities that when you come to this mind will absolutely open up and give you everything it's got, if you come to it in its own nature. So, I would tell you that our mission today is to realize that we are drawing too lightly upon our inheritance and to practice more deeply. To practice more deeply that divine companionship, that divine guidance, that divine willingness. Because Spirit is willing. It's up to us to permit. It is not our willpower, but our willingness that will manifest in this world. So there's that. I encourage you to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself today. Be willing. Be open to peace, be open to prosperity, be open to comfort, be open to joy, be open to the qualities of Spirit, because they are your qualities. They are what you are built from. Be open to the qualities of wholeness and perfection. Be willing to look in every eye that you meet and see God looking back at you. To see the Spirit looking back at you. It is going to be an absolutely gorgeous day. It's the end of December and we are going to be in the mid-70s here. So I would encourage you to open your windows, get some fresh air, and open the windows of your soul and allow the breath of heaven to remind you, you live in heaven now. You are a beloved child of Spirit, in whom Spirit is well pleased. You are a godling. You are an individual ray of the universal light. And you get to light your path, and you can light others' paths as well. You can't walk them, but you can light them. So, have a wonderful day. Do what you need to do to make it a fantastic day. And soon, we are coming on to 2021. All right, beloveds, have a wonderful day. Oh, and I'll remind you, Reverend David will be on with you at 5 p.m. I will be back with you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. And because we had Mary Radspinner, if you check out the YouTube, I was able to leave all of Mary Radspinner's music in because it's all public domain. So if you check the YouTube service out for Sunday, there's a lot more music than there usually is. All right, beloveds, have a wonderful day.